Listen, the hair is gonna do what the hair is gonna do today, and we are going to try and bring my general appearance on the rails here together today. We have a bunch of new makeup to try, and I mean, review. I've tried it all already. I need to like give y'all my report on this stuff, but some ones that I've been really, really excited to talk about. So the first thing here, I mean, the main character is gonna be the new Victoria Beckham foundation. This is Victoria Beckham Beauty's first foundation ever. I mean, they had a concealer that was kind of a flop. I think that all of us were hoping for a redemption arc here with this, especially because it's just been such a long time coming. This brand started in 2019 and it is now 2025. So it's like we're finally getting a foundation product. So anyway, this is the Victoria Beckham by Augustinus Bader Shake Well Before You Use Foundation. I'm just kidding. It is the foundation drops, luminous light coverage with their TFC8, which is their ceramide or something like that. Either way, I got it in the shade Fair Light. That is going to be one of the main characters today. The other main character I think today is going to be this Viseart Praline Entendu Visipro palette. I haven't touched anything from Viseart in a few years. I just had different taste for a while. I was unexcited by the color stories and the textures, and I have recently become very enamored with like beautifully, elegantly boring makeup, and I was like, I should revisit Viseart, you know? I bought this. Let me just say, this is, I just out of the gate, it's a really, really beautiful, again, eminently useful kind of palette. I'll talk about who this is for and we'll do an application, obviously. And then in between here, we also have a bronzer from Viseart that I bought. This is the bronzer that they had. I went on their website, I tried to get as much as I could, but like a lot of it was sold out, like a lot of it, like all the shades of the blushes and things like that. I also got a lip gloss from them that is really like, I just don't even really want to review it. It's just such a nothing burger. I don't think that it's worth your money. And then I also bought their Structure Brow and Shadow palette, and like, I can't tell you how disappointed I am in this. Like, there's nothing usable in it for me. There's nothing usable in there. Like, it's just soot. So that's why we're not doing like a dedicated Viseart video. It's just because like the stuff that I bought, I'm just kind of like, the winners are winners and the losers are losers. I got a couple things from Estee Lauder. They offered me some gifting. They sent me a bronzer, but we're not gonna be using that today because we're gonna use the Viseart one. I decided, I was like, I have never tried the Double Wear concealer. I've never tried the Double Wear foundation, but I thought the concealer would probably agree with me more than the Double Wear foundation. So I got that. I got it in the shade 1N. I bought one of the new lip oils that they just put out. This is in Hot Cocoa, which, you know, I mean, that's just a me shade right there. And then I also got one of the new Lancome liquid blushes. So this is the Idole Juicy Blush, and the shade is called something mauve, something cutesy mauve, but it's shade 40. So all that's going to ostensibly go onto my face today. Hopefully it looks cute, and I'm going to have final thoughts for y'all at the end. So let's go ahead and jump in. What do we do with this hair? I've been like waiting for it to dry. It looks really, really bananas until it dries usually, and then I'll put product in it. So I don't know, we'll just leave it for now. So here we have the foundation drops from Victoria Beckham. These are $110, and I did buy this with my own money, and it instantly begs the comparison, right, between itself and like the Lisa Eldridge foundation. I mean, hers is called a skin tint, but like hers are very much foundation drops in the same sense, where it's just this sort of like really thin, serum-y, skincare-ish oriented foundation product that is also supposed to perform. I mean, you would hope so for $110. Lisa's, I think, is like half the price. I might go ahead and apply these side by side just so that you can really see it, because it's like, this is truly the thing that I measure all things by, and it's definitely been something that when in the same breath, when people are asking about this foundation, they're like, please compare it to Lisa Eldridge, especially because of the price difference, but also just obviously they're really comparable formulas. So we'll start with the VB. Now I have experienced a few different things here, and this is also one of those things where it's like, as I know that friends of mine are also trying it, we'll kind of like bounce our opinions off of each other and our experiences with this stuff as it goes, because it's like, I'm only one person, right? And it's like, I want to know if maybe I did something wrong, there's like a more ideal way to do it or whatever. But I mean, I'll go ahead and tell you, you know, where I land with this one, and that is that like, this is a very beautiful product. It is. It builds on itself really nicely. It does, just on its own in one layer, have more coverage than the Lisa Eldridge one does. And we're not talking about, you know, full coverage, but it will build. My skin is a little bit broken out right now, and so it'll help you to really see like the coverage levels and stuff. And then we're gonna go in with freaking Estee Lauder Double Wear, so like, like we're going to erase them from my history. But one of the biggest things I want you to notice is that like this is luminous. This has some serious like reflective pearlescence to it. And it's not just like, I don't think it's too light. I know that it looks really light compared to my skin, but I'm just like extremely pigmented. The skin in between my freckles is pretty much that color. And this is what I would consider to be, you know, a normal amount of it to put on. This is kind of, I don't know, what my intuition tells me, but I have had better results when I applied even more thinly than this, but you do kind of have to sweet talk it to do that. You're kind of like dragging the sponge on your face. And I, just for the record, am not someone who puts foundation on with my fingers, typically. I tried it. I always try it with a new product, but like it has just never been something that I have the patience for. And honestly, it leaves too much product on my face. I just don't like rubbing my face that much. I feel like it disturbs all of my skincare and my SPF and everything underneath, and so I just don't. I just prefer a sponge. Even with Elisa Eldridge, everybody's like, oh, it soaks the product up so much. I'm like, who cares? Like, I like it. I just like the way that it applies. So, we're talking like the low end of medium coverage. Like true medium coverage feels like full coverage to me, because you just start getting into this place where it's like you need to paint your features back in. That's when I start thinking, oh, this is full coverage, is when it feels like it locks in and then I have to like go back in and like draw my features back on, which, for example, like the new Armani skin tint, you can wear that thinly enough that like you don't need to draw your features back on. It just kind of looks like improved skin. Then you get into the coverage level of like Elisa Eldridge, where I feel like you can build it to the point where it's like, okay, that looks like makeup, but you can also wear it thinly enough that you could probably get away with not doing so. Whereas like with this, it's like, that looks like makeup. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's just a thing. You know what I mean? I just want you to get an idea of what it looks like, and it is super reflective. Another thing, like it does dry down, it does, but it doesn't really lock the way that the Elisa Eldridge does, and it just has a different finish. So let's do that. Now I mean, in my, I guess, just infinite always wanting to bounce things off of my friends, like I said, I did, you know, message Natalie about this, and I was like, you know, it just doesn't really, I still like the Elisa Eldridge better, just all things considered. And she told me, she's like, I can't get the Elisa Eldridge to work for me. She's like, it works, but it's just not magical like it is on you. And so I don't really know how to quantify that. You know, if you have any insights on that, I welcome them in the comments. But I do think that these are, especially in the shades that I have them in, I have this in T2, this is like a very apt comparison. You can see that the Elisa Eldridge is like lower coverage overall, a lot less reflective. Just like in general, I don't really love the reflective quality of this. And we've been trying a lot of foundations that have that lately. The Armani does, so does the Tom Ford that we tried recently, and also the Ciel Skin Tint has just a lot of kind of this mica luminosity to it that makes the skin almost look pearly. And it's just a choice, you know, it's a choice that some brands make and others don't. And it's just not necessarily my thing. I feel like it does kind of accentuate texture a little bit. Even if it has like a smoothing finish to it, it still has like the reflective particles that I don't necessarily feel like it's like doing me the favors it's intending to do. So there you can see, let's turn the light down. I just think that even for less coverage, the Elisa Eldridge is more perfecting somehow. Like when it goes on, it's thinner for sure, which is weird because they're both really thin. But this just has more presence on the skin. I do like it. I respect it. I think it's a really good effort, but like it's still $110 and you don't have to buy either one of them, but they do really beg the comparison. And like I have worn these, you know, all day. One where it's like I really tried to build it, one where I really tried to thin it out, you know, days where I would like, I wore it a couple times inside of a day where I washed it off halfway through. It's like, okay, well, we're gonna try it with powder and without powder kind of thing. The main thing that I notice is that the Victoria Beckham, like one side of my face will look like it's a little bit more dragged down. Like all the makeup will look like it kind of like fell a little bit before it really set. And then the Elisa Eldridge side will look more lifted. Just because it's just like less everything on the skin. So I just feel like it's, I mean, in general, just a higher tech, more efficient formula. It might be, I'm just guessing, they both have skincare in them, but it might be that the Victoria Beckham just has more like skincare properties to it, and so it makes it kind of a little heavier on the skin. But you can see it's a little dewier, it's a little bit less want to just lock in. All right, let's try double wear concealer. If you're under, I mean, like, maybe you're not familiar with Estee Lauder's, you know, legacy products, but like Double Wear is like the original full coverage shellacking of foundation, okay? Like it is, if you want a perfected finish that is long wearing, oil controlling, like it is a classic. And this is the concealer version of it, so we gonna see. And again, I got this in 1N. Let's give her a shot. Smells, is it fragranced? I can't tell. It doesn't smell unpleasant, but it definitely has a smell. God, I feel like I'm back on like old school YouTube, you know? Old school YouTube, man. We were just like, obviously I'm gonna use full coverage. Why would I not use full coverage? What's my skin type? Who cares? You know what I mean? Like oil control all the time. Okay. Will you cover all of the things that I just picked? I got out of yoga and I was like, oh my God, my pores. It's not even like acne, it's just KP. It's just these little grains of sand. Wow, that's really pretty. That's really nice. It's one of those things, I mean, I guess from just a preference standpoint, on my channel, in my life, whatever, I've always liked a full coverage concealer. Like my regular complexion product, I'd rather it be lower coverage and then I'd like to have a lot more control with my concealer. Oh man, y'all, my mom's here and we have been just adventuring through my stash, like honestly, like anyone does when they come to my house. I'm gonna put something right there too. I had been using an Hourglass palette when I was in the city, and as I was doing so, I was like, man, for people like my mom who just don't really want to take this like super deep interest in the makeup that it's like, I don't need to learn everything about it. I just want something that works. I was like, this is gonna be amazing. And so I handed her one. I gave it to her, you know, for like the last 24 hours or so. And I mean, she came to me this morning, she goes, where do I get this? I said, Sephora. She's like, this is great. I love this. And I was like, I am so glad. I also got her all of the different products in the bergamot and hinoki fragrance of the Salt and Stone, because it was like when I was in Tallahassee last, she had kind of, you know, been like, wow, she's just a person who all smells like just kind of give her a headache and stuff. And so she was like, that's unique, that's different, it's very unisex, it's, you know, it's like very, very nice. And so I got her like the deodorant, the body wash, the body butter, and the lotion, and like the body spray and everything like that. And yeah, she's really into it. Oh, and she's kind of like Natalie in the sense that she has this like Bermuda Triangle of like undertones where I was just like, why does everything either turn orange or gray on you? Like what, you know? And so I was like, listen, you know, if you want like a lipstick, I was like shopping around in my stash. I was like, I bought Easy in the Rouge, whatever it's called, from Chanel, because it's Natalie's favorite. And I didn't end up loving it because it's too pink for me. And then, by God, my mother put it on and she was like, oh, this is what I've been looking for, you know? And I texted Natalie, I was like, yep, y'all are the same. She's like, that makes me so happy. I'm so happy that like my one and only, my favorite lipstick works for your mom. It's like, yep. So it was a successful day yesterday of like trying makeup. It's my favorite thing in the world. Uniting people with the thing that's going to make them happy. Like that just, the best. Oh, you know what else I have? I have this new secret brightening powder from Laura Mercier, and I'm going to use the translucent one, and we're going to have a little talk about this brightening powder trend, okay? Because I understand that like when you get into deeper skin tones that are not white, like white, like translucent white, you know, it can be nice to have powders that have a different color to them so that you can like build them and get a really nice brightened effect from them without it being this. However, the idea that there are these brightening powders that are just like a pale pink, some people's skin is pink, but I just want to, from a color theory standpoint, go ahead and just put my stake in the ground and say, I think that if your skin's not pink, you shouldn't be using a pink powder. It's not going to be brightening on you the way that like a Becca under eye brightening corrector is. I think that that does work for deeper skin tones, but like for people like me, translucent is just fine. If you are really pale and you're looking at like really pale pink powders and going, well, is that something that I need to try? Is that gonna make me look more awake? If your skin's not pink, don't buy pink powder. People with like olive undertones that like buy the like fuchsia powder, the jury's out, y'all. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, if that's what you want to do, then that's what you want to do. I'm not really sure what the science is there, but yeah, I've used enough like pink brightening powders for fair skin to know that like I'm sorry, there's no magic there, they're just pink. And it's like, as soon as you get into the quote unquote brightening powders for deeper skin tones, they're just like the color of a lighter complexion. They're not some like, usually, they're not some like wild other color. They're not like, you know, neon green or something like that. It makes sense that like, especially you look at someone like Jackie Aina, right? And she'll like put a bunch of different colors of concealer underneath her eyes because she's creating dimension, because she's got so much like melanin to work with, right? There's like a large margin of what she can wear in terms of something that she can like brighten under her eyes and things like that and create contrast. She is just a master of working her contrast. But like, when you get into really, really fair skin, like, I'm sorry, it just doesn't apply. It just doesn't really apply as much. And so, yes, there's such a thing as something that's brightening because it has like reflective properties in it or something like that. But like, there are kind of like extreme lightness situations where it's like, no, you don't just run out of runway on having like the ability to create contrast in terms of lightness on your skin and go, well, we're gonna take a hard left and just make it pink instead. You don't need a pink brightening powder if your skin is not pink. I hope that that saves some people a little bit of confusion. All that to say, I think that the new Laura Mercier one, it's not as good as, you know, just the regular translucent powder. And if I had to pick one, it would be her translucent pressed powder because it is truly translucent. I mean, it is like nothing on the skin. It functions beautifully as a powder while also being invisible. So that is like a very impressive product. This, you know, I just kind of wonder if I'm really the customer for it, but at the same time, it's like, you know, you get the lights low and like it's just so finely milled while also being reflective that it starts to really settle in into lines and stuff that I didn't even realize I had. Like if I'm going to put something on that has that, like it does have a little bit of coverage to it, I'm gonna use either like Hourglass or Kosas. But I did want to powder just a little bit before I did the bronzer. I am gonna go in with the bronzer before we do contour just because I want you all to see the color. You know, I've used this a handful of times and every time I do, I'm just really impressed with what it does. So again, this is the Viseart one, Bronze Noir. But yeah, it's just in the lightest shade here and I don't know. It's like I put that color on, it's like the undertones are right, the depth is right, the formula is right. It's just nice. It's just nice. It just makes me feel so pretty without being orange. But like, yeah, I mean, it's just got a really nice amount of desaturation to it without being gray. It's one of those things where it's like I can like pound this color on and I don't feel like my face is like that different from my neck still. It's not like I changed my entire like skin tone situation, because that will happen sometimes where I'm like, dang, I look sexy, and then I like step back and I'm like, oh right, but like my head doesn't look like it belongs to my body. Like, you know, sometimes we get like, that's one of the things, it's like, God, you learn it when you're in your like early teens or whatever, you start like tweezing your eyebrows and you realize I should never get too close to the mirror, because when you concentrate on one little thing on your face, inevitably you're going to back away from the mirror and go, oh, okay, well, it looked good when I was like really close to it, but it doesn't like fit with everything else anymore. That's how I've felt about some bronzers in the past, but like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's just everything. And I love that it doesn't have any shimmer to it or anything. It's just a nice formula. It kind of reminds me, honestly, Viseart feels like Surratt to me in a lot of ways. They don't have that same kind of like super smooth slurry formula, but when it goes on the skin, it is just as like elegant, you know, that's just a beautiful finish. Now, one thing that I did really notice that you're probably going to notice throughout this as well is when I'm wearing the Victoria Beckham, because it's a little bit like wetter and more present on the skin, I noticed that the makeup is more vivid on it. So, I mean, there is something to be said for that, but yeah, I mean, that's like a little sleepy, lovely bronzer, isn't it? Like, oof, the finish on the skin is just lovely. I guess the cat's out of the bag on Lisa Eldridge's new brow pencil. She sent this to me a few weeks ago and I've just been using it in videos to get my head around it and everything. So I'll just comb those bad boys up. I'm not gonna use it just this second, but we'll use that when I do my eyebrows and everything later. I'm gonna say it, that powder didn't do enough. That powder didn't do enough. I'm gonna pull out my Kosas. It just like this just wasn't what I needed, you know? Everything still feels really sticky. So this is my old girl. A little standby ride or die. She's so loyal. And it's like, you can also just cover a pimple with it. It's just amazing stuff. I will wait to do contour until I'm doing like my eye makeup and everything like that, because it's like, I just want to make sure y'all see the colors clearly. Let's go ahead and talk about, this is a first impression. I just opened these downstairs on some of this stuff. So this is this new Lancome Idol Juicy Blush. And I got it, it's called Mauve something. That doesn't really look like mauve to me. That's just like a rosy pink, but I'm also not mad at a rosy pink. You know what I mean? Like, that's just pretty. The colors online, I bought this because the colors online did look more remarkable than this. Like, they look a little more unique than this, but also that's not a bad color. I'm not disappointed. I'm just kind of like, I also only got one. I was gonna get 3. I was like really amped on these when I saw them, and then I saw like the total for my order from Nordstrom, and I was like, all right, girl, like, let's dial it back a little bit. I was like buying, you know, things from Chanel and everything. By the way, I have to show y'all something. Speaking of Chanel. Also, I absolutely bullied myself into buying the holiday quad from them with the buttons. So I have that. I know that I said that I wasn't gonna buy anything else from Chanel, but like there were so many comments, people being like, I bought that and I love it. I really thought that you would like it. And I'm like, all right, fine, you know? So I did, I bought it. We'll be reviewing that. Wow, that's really easy. That's like really, really easy and lovely. That looks incredible in person. Like the finish that it leaves on the skin is very lovely, and that was very easy. I just kind of put it on the back of my hand and worked with a sponge, so. Yeah, no complaints. I love when things are that easy. The thing that I was going to say and the thing that I will use right now, although I think I already kind of have it on, is this. Look at this. Look at this little thing. I didn't even know this thing existed. So when I went on Lisa's trip to, like we went on the train when she did the Rouge experience, I happened to be seated across from Zach Heath. I was with Alexandra in LA. She was sitting across from Zach Heath. And I had never met him before. He's just a delight. You should follow him. But he recently had posted that he'd left this at some, you know, trip that he had taken. And he was like so heartbroken about it. I can still feel it on my lips from earlier. Like, I have been wiping my lips constantly, and there's something about this little Hydra Beauty lip serum thing from Chanel that it's like not like a normal lip product. Like you put it on and it feels like aloe, and then it dries down and then it just stays like that. And he's like, I lost mine. I can't live without it. I have to buy another one. And I was like, all right, Zach, like I need to know, you know, give me a reason to buy an adorable little overpriced thing from Chanel. This is the coolest ever. It's so cool. So it just, you know, comes out and like the little thing. It does not feel at all like a normal lip product. At all, at all. And then you kind of like, it doesn't really even look like anything, but like you rub it in and it takes a minute, but then it dries down. And it's like, I posted in my stories. I was like, all right, Zach, like this is weird, but I'm like oddly obsessed with it. And he replied, he was like, yeah, if I put that on in the morning and then put another lip product on top, like my lips stay hydrated all day. And that's what's so weird about this stuff, is like it locks in moisture in a way that doesn't feel like anything that you've ever put on your lips, ever. Like it just, it doesn't feel like a lip product. It feels like a skin serum for your lips. It doesn't look like anything, but it's definitely there. It's cool stuff. It's really, really cool stuff. It's interesting. Because like, it doesn't look like there's anything there. It's really just like soaks in. It's awesome. Oh, and I should say, because I asked him this before I bought it, it doesn't really I mean, it's the subtlest, tiniest kind of candy smell. That's it. It's like a tiny bit fruity, barely. And it has a very, very faint sweetness to it, but it doesn't smell like a Chanel product. You know, it doesn't smell like a Chanel foundation. Okay, let's crack into this Viseart eyeshadow palette. So again, this is the Praline Entendu, and like, I couldn't help my darn self. I mean, look at that thing. Look at it. I forgot about like Viseart, how, you know, it's so makeup artist oriented. Like you can pop every single one of those out if you want to, take it with you, do whatever you want to do. The main thing was for me, I had bought like the Aperol Spritz one and stuff like that. And I was just like, I'm buying these ones that I'm hoping that the textures are going to be really satisfying because the colors are bright. And like, that just wasn't the case. This is the use case for Viseart like shimmer formulas because they're beautiful, but like that's, you know what I mean? That's beautiful, but it's not like shocking. It's not gonna behave like an indie shadow. Like it's just very beautiful. It's just well done, beautiful stuff. So, I mean, I think that the main thing to kind of take away from this color story is just that like, the furthest it goes into gold territory or warmth is very bronzy. It's got a little bit of green in it. You know what I mean? Like that's a bronze that's not gonna go orange on most people. And then, you know, this is that like bedroomized Bambi color that looks really, really great on like fair skin tones like that. I mean, honestly, it's kind of great on everybody. Everything about this very subtly stays in a safe territory for people for whom things tend to go orange. So olive undertones typically. And so it's like, it works really well for me as a neutral undertoned person, but like the subtle ways that it kind of leans into mauve over here, even kind of these like, you know, creamier, warmer browns and stuff, they still stay in this kind of safer territory where they're not gonna go super duper orange, at least most of them. And I did compare it also and found it to be quite similar. I mean, it doesn't have all the same shades obviously, but it's very similar in spirit to this old master palette by Mario from Anastasia that Rebecca lent this to me to kind of compare to things in my stash. And it was like, I found colors that compare to it pretty well, but this is the closest that the formulas have come. And I like messaged her and I was like, this is actually really good. She's like, I already bought it. And I was like, okay, let's crack into it here. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna start with this kind of cooler chocolatey brown, milk chocolate kind of color. And what I like about the Viseart formula is that it really just keeps blending. You can get so much mileage out of it even after it's already placed on the skin, which makes it really forgiving, really user-friendly. I think that the only thing that like I ever had a misgiving about with their formulas was I was like, these are boring. And like, you know, boring derogatory. Now I'm like boring praise. Go ahead and build a nice little shadow here and then we can pull in some warmth. I take a lot of comfort in like a good brown that has like a little tiny bit of like that purple to it. It looks like hot chocolate. See, do you see how it just keeps spreading? Like it just keeps blending once it's on the skin. And like, I mean, it's a Sigma brush. It's not the highest or the lowest quality. It's not, we're not talking about something where like I'm letting my magic wand do the work. Like that's a really, really fantastic formula. And then I'll just, you know, take the creamy shade here, work that up in there, give that a little bit of love. Going to, I mean, honestly, there is nothing wrong with a fully matte eye look, and this does a really great job at a fully matte eye look. Just gonna throw that out there. I'm gonna keep actually working with that same color I started with. I really want to keep the saturation on the outer corner. I am gonna go in with a little more warmth here, over here. Start kind of working that into what we've already got because that's gonna help it blend more naturally into my own skin tone. But truth be told, I could also pull that bronzer powder out because it's incredible. So I'm working with coolness right there in the crease and a little bit of warmth as the actual contour of the eye comes towards you. That's going to accentuate the idea that it's going to come towards you. It's like, you know, accentuating the illusion a little bit. Gonna go in with that fair shade, the lightest matte in there, and go into the inner corner, just make sure everything's really connected in terms of the texture, like the final texture on the skin is consistent before we go in with any shimmers or anything. I'm also going to take a little bit of that warmer color and go underneath my eyes with it. And then, yeah, I guess the kind of deeper tone here, it's like still warm though, but I'm going to kind of use that, yeah, as like a little bit more outer corner shadow. There we go. Ooh, isn't that nice? So subtle. I just respect what they're doing. So then we can just like have fun and choose some shimmers. So I think what I want to do is use just this one right here is just like very neutral, like right in the middle of everything. And use just a tippity tap of that. I don't want to go too like gold. And then I'm also going to layer that one that's a little bit mauve on top of it, just because the eye look also is a little bit mauve, just in general. Not really working with an illusion, more so just the tonal quality that we've already established with the mattes. So this one's got a like little tiny bit of mauve to it. Oh, it's gorgeous. Oh, look at that, look at that, look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. And I could use a brush with this, but the finger is just faster. I'm gonna grab a little bit of that first shade and just make sure that like the crease is definitely matte. I just don't like, on me, I feel like it distorts everything when the shimmer creeps up into the crease. All right, I mean, God, it's like so freaking easy. And then yeah, I do still need a little tiny bit. Actually, I have this really nice kind of like champagne-y shimmer that I can use on the inner corner. Oh, yeah, that's so nice. That's so nice. Lovely. Lovely. Yeah, I mean, you're seeing the way that this, like, I don't really need to explain it that much. It's just a really lovely, subtle bunch of textures that all work in a really tight color story together. And as someone who just really likes to look at the differences between similar colors, I'm like, oh, this brown versus that brown, this beige versus that beige, you know, what are the undertones like? What can I do with that? This is a dream for me. It's just right in my comfort zone. So pretty sure like all the shimmers are the same texture and all the mattes are the same texture. We're just talking about like 2 finishes in here. I would put them at like, you know, blendability level YSL, but like a little more committed than like a YSL shadow. They're not quite as like fluffy creamy. They have a little bit more like tooth to them, which I really like. Yeah, all we have left is the lip. So I'm going to do like my eyeliner, my mascara, my brows. We're also gonna do a little bit of cream contour. I'm gonna use the Dior, and then we'll come back and do lips, and then we will talk final thoughts. The Estee Lauder Glossy Palette Lip Oil, and I was just, you know, in my type of takes complaining about how everybody and their brother and their brother's dog has put out a tinted lip oil of some persuasion, and this happens to be theirs. I haven't tried it yet. We'll see. Maybe it'll be peach color dressing and I'll totally hate it. We'll see. It has a little bit of a Bonnie Bell smell to it. That's actually interesting. Definitely committed on the color. More so than some of the kind of nothing burgers that we're seeing at like Sephora, but like, I'm unsure. I'm unsure. I am unsure. Do you see how you can see my lips through it in a way that looks like I didn't mean to? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like it's too cool toned for my lips, or it's like too much pigment for the suspension. Like, it just doesn't look quite right. Estee Lauder, especially compared to, you know, its counterpart over here, you know, comparably. This is the Lancome Lip Idole Juicy Treat in Brownie Bite, and it's just, what is it about? It's like gray. You would never in a million years expect something like that to go gray on me, but it's gray. The formula is fine. The formula is fine. But it's like, if I'm gonna have something that has that color to it, I want it to be really translucent or really opaque. And it's kind of just right there in the middle. It just doesn't really work, Estee Lauder. So I'll do Brownie Bite. This stuff is really lovely. Something about the opacity of that was just like just not working. I think my hair is dry. We can just put the hair either up or back or something here. The hair was just so chaotic. I don't have any product in it or anything. I had like just gotten out of the shower. There we go, I guess. So let's do a little bit of clear brow gel and we will jump into final thoughts. My lips feel really good. I love the way that Lancome stuff feels on the lips. It's got like a really pleasant amount of tingle. It's not like overly minty or spicy or anything. Okay, I think that I'm ready for final thoughts now. We will start here with the Victoria Beckham foundation drops. I feel like there's really no way to review this without including the fact that it's $110. Like that's gotta be built into your perception, because it's like most of us are not out here buying $100 foundations on a regular basis. Chanel makes a couple of $100 foundations, $150 foundations that I've tried that I actually do really respect and enjoy and things like that, but like you don't need to spend this kind of money to get a really, really great foundation. And that's coming from a luxury lover, okay? I love luxury beauty. I do think that often, you know, the price justifies the experience, X, Y, and Z, more so than most people would think is sane. This is lovely, don't get me wrong, but like, you can get better things for less money. The whole experience, I mean, it's nice, it is. But like, it's a little heavier than I would like, it's a little more luminous than I would like. It's probably really nice if I wore it for a month every single day. I'd probably experience some good like skincare benefits, but I notice skincare benefits every single day when I use the Lisa Eldridge. Like it calms down breakouts and things like that. That's just personal, you know what I mean? Skincare is really personal, but that's how it works for me. That's why it's another reason that I really like it, outside of just how beautiful it is and how much it performs, you know, how long it wears. This also doesn't really wear as long. Like I will find that it is very, very disturbed by like sunglasses and stuff like that. Everything is going to be, but this one, like, you can really see how like high profile it is on the skin. It's just, it's truly a substance, you know what I mean? Like it's not really sinking in, it's just like, it's on top of there, and it's nice. It does dry down, but like, it is more present on the skin than the Lisa Eldridge. Like it's just, I mean, you can like, you know, one to the other. It's just, there's more makeup there. It looks more made up. But also, like I said, you can tell like the colors, they just kind of stay more vivid on something because there's just more presence on the skin of the actual formula. It's just more makeup. And I just want to go ahead and like reassure you that like this is not the new price that you need to pay to get a good foundation, okay? Is it beautiful? Yes. If you bought it and you love it, are you wrong? No. I just don't think that you need to pay this kind of money to get something like this. Like there are, like I said, there are better things. It reminds me a lot of the CL. It does. They're not identical, obviously, but like it does remind me a lot of the CL foundation. And the CL foundation is like, I don't know, $40 or something, which is not negligible, but it's not $110. And even the Lisa Eldridge, I want to say, is around half the price of this Victoria Beckham. And it's like, when you price something like that, you are making a statement. You are throwing down the gauntlet and saying, this is going to be the best thing that you've ever tried, you know? And it isn't the best thing that I've ever tried. It's very, very pretty. I definitely like it a lot better than the foundation drops from Westman Atelier, but those aren't really for my skin type. That's just kind of like this oil suspension. It's just not my favorite thing. But looking at it on its own, yes, it's a pretty product, but I still would never recommend paying $110 for it. Listen, they might have me on this, which is interesting. The Double Wear Concealer from Estee Lauder, like they might kind of have me on this. It's really nice. It looks great. Like it looks great. It really does. And it's like, I don't want to wear the Double Wear foundation, I don't think, because again, it's not meant for my skin type really, but like for concealer, I like a concealer to cover. I like it to stay put. I like it to not be incredibly shiny. And honestly, kind of back to basics, right? I mean, that's just beautiful. It's just really pretty. There's a reason this product is so popular for years and years and years. It's really, really lovely. I like it a lot. I will continue using it. The two Visear products I'm just very impressed with. It's kind of hard to talk about this because I don't think that if you're a Viseart person that I'm introducing you to anything new. If you're familiar with the Viseart formula, I will just say that like from a neutral skin standpoint to anyone who kind of goes a little bit like towards coolness or greenness, like this is really incredible. Like this is very lovely, very blendable. It's going to be really kind to your undertones. If you're really, really warm undertoned, you might experience some kind of like gray, ashy sootiness with this. So it's like, that's mainly the people that I would steer clear. Same kind of goes for this bronzer. I'm very impressed with the color of this bronzer. The formula is also really gorgeous. It just, I mean, honestly, I applied it on top of stuff that was a little bit like dewy, gummy, like not dried all the way down, not powdered all the way down. And like, it's just a very well-behaved product. It's an abundance of product for the money. I got all this stuff on sale because I bought it over Labor Day weekend, but still, I don't think that they're like wildly expensive. Either way, This is just an incredibly beautiful color. The formula is really lovely. I'm just very impressed by it. And it also just feels very like, it just feels like quality first. It feels like meritocracy makeup. Like, I'm going to impress you with what it is that I came here to do. I feel like they're kind of neck and neck with Viseart in a lot of ways, with just the way that it's just so performance first. And the color stories really work for me. I am a fan of this blush. I think it's really lovely. You know, it's not fading. It goes on really evenly and stuff like that. The thing that I'm kind of disappointed in, this is the new Lancome one, is just that the color that I have in my hand is not as exciting as it looked online. I can't speak for all of them, but like, I am just a little disappointed, and just, I'm like, I was hoping for a little bit more like subtlety, I don't know, grunginess, excitement, just something a little more unexpected, and it is just so squarely rose. So it's very, very pretty. The formula is lovely. I think it's beautiful, but like, it's not like the most special thing in the world. This from Estee Lauder, I am just extremely confused about. Like, I would never in a million years expect that color to go like oddly gray on me. I have really translucent lips. Usually that's not the issue. I think that this has too much pigment opacity for the suspension. So it's too high coverage for the amount of opacity it has, which makes it kind of too low coverage to be a lip product of this color. Does that make sense? Like, you need something like that. If it's not gonna, it's so incongruous with my lip color, and honestly, I would say kind of like anybody's lip color. Because even if you have brown lips, it's so gray, it's so light. It goes on so light. It was just very odd. What an odd, it's an odd product. I would like to try the other colors, maybe, but like, then I put this on and I was like, ah, yes, a nice cool brown. You know, there are easier ways to accomplish this, and this was just, y'all tell me, what did your eyes detect? Because it did, it looked like it was just very like strangely dead gray on me. So I don't know. Color theory mysteries to be solved another day, y'all. So I hope that this was fun for y'all. I hope this was informative. We had a lot of products to pack in today, so that's why I feel like I didn't really like joke around as much today as I usually do, is because I just feel like we needed to get down to business. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. If you're new here or you just haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe while you're here. We would love to have you. I will put a video up here that I think you'll enjoy if you liked this one. Thank you all so much for being here, for watching, for hanging out with me today. I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.